The reason why Stephen is given such an important place in the book of Acts, I believe, is because he was a trailblazer. He really opened doors for the mission of the church. His message was that Jerusalem is not essential. The temple is not essential. God has worked outside the temple, and God's people always oppose what God has been trying to do. His message freed the church from Judaism in many ways. It gave the church a perspective that it was something that is going to go beyond the Jewish people to the whole world. So theologically, he really opened the door. And of course, his death also opened the door for the gospel going out, because people had to go. They scattered all over. So in many ways, I see him as the trailblazer, the precursor to the great missionary movement of Christianity. I think one of the things that we often forget is that before God does a great work in the Bible and in the history, people have to pay a price. And Stephen is one of the people who paid a price. He showed us that before great things happen, God's followers have to take on the cost of discipleship. And Stephen, of course, gave a message that was very brilliantly contextualized, so much so that his people fully understood what he said. They understood it so much that they killed him. So, when we contextualize, when we adapt our ministry to fit into the culture, the gospel is so radical that there are going to be people who find it very offensive. And that's what happened with Stephen. He paid the price, but he opened the door for the church to go and preach the gospel to the whole world. Stephen has a lot of truth to give us in Sri Lanka and the people in Wales too. Because Stephen was a master contextualizer. When we contextualize, the material we work with is the scriptures, which is what Stephen did. He used the scriptures, which happened to be the books of the people of his audience, and he took that message and he applied it to the history of these people and showed how unique the gospel of Jesus Christ is. So he was a master contextualizer. Of course, it meant that he had to die, because people realized that Christianity is going to move away from the confines of Judaism and become an international, worldwide religion. So he taught us what real contextualizing is. Sometimes people are afraid of contextualizing because they think it opens the door to compromise. Here was a brilliant contextualizer who didn't compromise. Stephen also teaches us, that the most effective things in terms of the progress of the gospel may not be what the world considers successful. I think we are all influenced by the celebrity culture, where significance is measured in terms of public acclaim and how popular a person is. Whereas Stephen was just the opposite. He had no popular claim. He was killed, but he showed, but he opened the door, so that the largest speech, the longest speech in the whole of the book of Acts is Stephen's speech. So he was a very successful minister, but his success resulted in his death. Very countercultural in today's world. So I think he has a lot to teach us today as to how we can be faithful followers of Jesus Christ.